This notebook appears to be very old. I should show it to Abbe Grégoire. Balsamo. So that is the name that the Comte de Cagliostro uses to conduct his business discreetly. You'll stay with me always, n'est-ce pas? Without you, mon ami, I'd be all alone. This box is covered in astronomical symbols. It's no use. I can't get it open. I should show this to Monsieur B. The field with the dead tree. Good. I'm nearly there. Don't move!
Ah, that cursed dancer! May you be devoured by rust!
Through my fingers. Fortunately, he was unable to take his things with him. The sleepless slaves. They meant the automats. Feeding off the blood of innocent people. Monsieur Raymond was completely mistaken. I must inform him. Monsieur le Marquis.
I'm listening, Aegis.
Goodbye, Monsieur... Monsieur Necker.
Madame? Eh bien, do you come bearing good news?
Your wife. You may rest easy, monsieur. Your wife escaped the massacre. She returned home and left you this letter.
Mon Dieu. She's going to meet our daughter and son-in-law at our charity hospital.
She may already be there.
Madame, I did not dare to dream of such an outcome. My wife and daughter. Can you imagine? And I thought I had lost both of them. The three of us will be able to leave the kingdom and put these horrors behind us forever.
What about the bonds?
Oh, the bonds. Do with them as you see fit. As long as the king does not use them. As for me, I'm going to find my family at once. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. I pray that your efforts will be successful. Adieu, madame. Adieu.
Minister Necker has given his bonds to me.
That's quite a nice little sum. Can you imagine? That's 1/5 of the kingdom's entire wealth.
Wealth that the king squanders for his personal benefit according to his whims.
Ma foi. Monsieur Necker certainly has been very generous to his adoptive country.
Generous? I have my doubts. The loan was granted at a very high rate. So high, in fact, that it would have dug the deficit into an even deeper state of abyss.
Eh bien, messieurs. To what use shall we employ this boonful fortune?
If I could spend it, I'd do everything I could to return to the people their confiscated freedom. To begin, I would get them the bread they so sorely need. It is only after the scourge of famine has been vanquished that armed patriots might then be able to rise up against despotism.
And where will you find wheat, Robespierre? Will you steal it from under the noses of the automats who have sworn to destroy the human race? As for arming the people, this is another one of your delusions. How could your ragged pack of wretches win any sort of battle that'd be unable to lift a sword?
When you insult the people, you insult me, Monsieur de Lafayette.
I am not insulting anyone, Robespierre. But I happen to know what it takes to fight. Unlike you. Monsieur, I was but a lad of 15 when I took up arms. And everyone here knows my role in the liberation of America from British rule. If you allow me to dispose of these bonds, I will found an army that will annihilate the Clockwork King's diabolical machines. As soon as I have the opportunity to leave Paris, I will rally the officers and troops that are stationed in the provinces. Then, I will call for a mass uprising. I will have more than enough money to pay their wages and procure the weapons we need.
And you will have obedient troops at your beck and call, ready to repress anyone who challenges your power.
These troops will only serve the will of the people. I swear it.
Are you sure that the king has spared the rest of the kingdom, Monsieur le Marquis?
I am almost certain of it, mon père. Despite all of his resources, the king does not have enough manpower to occupy all the garrisons in the country.
Aegis, no member of this assembly can force your hand. The choice is yours. To whom will you entrust Monsieur Necker's bonds?
Maximilien de Robespierre, I have chosen to entrust this fortune to you.
Very well, madame. I promise that I will use it for one purpose only. Freedom for the people and by the people. When a monarch violates the people's most fundamental rights, insurrection is their most sacred and indispensable duty. But we must be wary of warmongers, who claim to defend our happiness.
Bon sang, am I the only one who is weary of hearing these tiresome monologues?
For they wish only to silence us, and take their own turn at playing tyrant.
Congratulations, Aegis. You've chosen a speechifier as Commander-in-Chief. I am sure the king will be delighted to hear this. He need not fear for his throne now.
Have you found my mother?
No.
Remember,
I found a broken cane. It says Franciscus Antonius on it. Do you know who it belongs?
Well, I never. Yes. And I'm willing to bet you're looking for a certain François Antoine.
That's right.
Well, you'd need to look a little further east, because this cane, Franz Anton Mesmer.
Mesmer, the prince of charlatans. Good heavens, it's been a long time since I've heard his name.
5 years to be exact since your learned commission denounced his theories.
It wasn't long after that when he disappeared.
Can you tell me more about Mesmer?
He was a mystical healer who was once popular with the upper class. I myself attended.
You mentioned
The king did not look kindly on the healer's popularity. This led him to appoint a commission from the Royal Academy of...
An institution to which Monsieur Bailly and I have the honor to belong. We were asked to investigate his alleged powers.
The experiments that we performed that Monsieur Mesmer's activities were pure charlatan, a conclusion that destroyed his successful career.
But there was something, Sylvain. A tiny flow of energy that my device...
My dear colleague, must I remind you again that we were never able to reproduce your observations? It was obviously a momentary failure of your equipment.
Perhaps. I'd like to be sure of it.
when and how did...
The denunciation of his techniques was the start of a long... He was abandoned by his clients and resumed his... I think he was hoping to perfect his so-called...
A hope that led him to associate himself with that dastardly Cagliostro. God, in any case, their collaboration... Monsieur Mesmer left the kingdom of...
Why did he leave so quickly?
That is a mystery. But those who saw him that morning say it was as if he had...
This is true. He left in such a hurry that he abandoned everything. And it seems that Cagliostro has in...
Is that so? Well, if what you say is true...
Yes, it's like...
This adventurer from who knows where is quite the mysterious character. I've been able to observe him from my apartments, making frequent visits to... I wonder what he was doing.
What were Monsieur Mesmer...
He is a proponent of a theory called... He claimed to be able to channel a purported universal healing fluid by...
He also cobbled together a whole array of mad devices. Unfortunately, despite all his attempts, I don't know...
What happened during...
Oh, they were quite... Imagine well-born ladies afflicted with perfectly imaginary illnesses. A dimly lit room where incense has been burnt. Amiable servants, half-dressed, gliding from count... And the great Mesmer, a doctor with wonder... Oh, you should have seen them. Those grand ladies moaning... Du théâtre, ma chère. Have you found my...
No.
Remember...
Goodbye, Monsieur.
So how is Monsieur Marat?
I haven't met...
He is your only chance to reach the Bastille. He's holed up in the quarries of Montmartre, hiding from...
As for the lantern...
Did Monsieur de Laclos tell you the secret?
No.
That's a pity. Without... Let's see. I know he's close to Monsieur Marat, the patriotic... He's currently in hiding in the... But please, do not breathe a word of this to the Marquis de Lafayette. It would certainly end in a...
Were you present?
Oui, madame. We laid... So he... At least positive...
Goodbye, Monsieur de Rob. Monsieur Lavoisier.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
The clues I found at the warehouse.
Diable.
Goodbye. Monsieur Bailly. I found this box with astronaut... I believe it belongs to Vaucanson's daughter.
Athénaïs' secret box. I built it with my own hands. It was my gift to her.
I wasn't able to open...
Naturellement. Athénaïs and I... Allow me. You must arrange the planets the way they were aligned on the day of Athénaïs' birth. Voila, like this.
What's this locket?
Athénaïs is always wearing this. It contains a portrait of her late mother. She said it was her most cherished... To think. The portrait...
You monster! What did you do to her?
Good God. Ludia, what happened? You froze the moment you touched the locket. I thought I'd lost you.
I saw her. At Anais de Vaucanson. The Comte de Cagliostro has her.
Mon Dieu. It is just as I feared.
He bound her spirit to an automat.
Please, say no more. At Anais. It is her spirit that animates you. Is it not?
Yes. I believe so.
Seigneur, quelle abomination. It is vital that you go and find Athenais as soon as possible.
She is right in front of you. I am Athenais.
Alas, I fear that is not entirely accurate. You know nothing of Athenais, Ludia. Nothing of her past, her joys, her suffering. Nothing of her love for her father. You are but the vessel that harbors the poor child's soul.
Where can I find Athenais?
God only knows. Although I ask, this is certainly the only way to keep her the only way to free her is to find her book.
Why was Eugène de Vaucanson?
Once he discovered the king's true intent, he refused to use his talents to create this abominable army. Eugène did manage to get a letter to me just here.
Monsieur Bailly. Goodbye, Monsieur. Monsieur Raymond.
Go on, Aegis.
I went to the Hotel de Massiac as a group. What I discovered goes beyond your dark. The club's members have no intention of merely depriving their slaves of rest. Rather, with the king's support, they plan to replace them with automat harvesters.
Ma foi. But such a plan would certainly only improve the lot of them.
You are mistaken, mon père. If the planters get there, only this time.
Quelle abomination!
Par tous les saints.
4 days ago. They were to be sacrificed as part of an experiment. Luckily, I was able to prevent them.
Where are they now?
In a place they call the Dépôt des Noirs. It bears the inscription.
The Devil's Tower is a prison in Vincennes, within the chateau walls.
That's 3 leagues from here. We'll only be able to free the prisoners once we're able to...
At least they were spared the fate that the king and his...
And what will you do with the 2 servants you employ, Monsieur Raymond?
I will continue to treat them well, as I always have.
However, under the laws you insist on following, they will become slaves again the moment they leave the kingdom for Saint-Domingue.
Certainly not, Monsieur de Robespierre. The planters of Massiac have been proven to be nothing but avaricious murderers. I thought I was dealing with opposition, but now I discover them to be vile, from whom it would be vain from this day on. I will fight against their interests with all my strength, and will not lay down my arms until the last...
Rest assured, then, that the people will fight by your side, Monsieur Raymond.
That's the spirit, my friends. Vive...
Monsieur Raymond.
Go on.
See you. Monseigneur.
What can I do?
Goodbye.
Allez en paix.
Can I help you, Aegis?
What is the significance of these
Nemes. I have reread every work that I have on them. These echoes go back to the beginning, to that fateful day in ancient Greece when some dark magician... You see, Aegis, there is nothing more dire. The soul is the very essence. The earliest necromancers whose works... When a soul is fragmented and takes shelter in three... It's as if these memories wish to remain bound.
I found this notebook.
Indeed. Oh, hold on. Bon sang. This handwriting. It's in Nicholas Flamel's own hand. Give me some time to study this, and I'll tell you what...
Have you finished reading the notebook, mon père?
Yes, Aegis, and what I learned from it puzzles me. In this diary, 3 journeys into what he calls tormented spirits that are unable to ascend to heaven.
This world. It's where Cagliostro's victims were trapped until I freed them.
En effet, I believe you're right. He wrote this in the final paragraph, in his handwriting, dated 21st of March 1418. What if his body died while his soul was traveling through limbo? Aegis, because of your unique nature, we have an incredible opportunity.
What do you mean, mon père?
If the soul that animates you has been bound to the automaton that serves as its vessel, and if this were the case, the soul would travel to purgatory. Where can it...
Hold on. Are you...
I'm offering you a chance to speak to the man who discovered...
Assuming I agree to venture into
Certainly. According to this journal, the soul flies to the zen... or that of the pilgrim, in this case. If Flamel's soul is trapped in purgatory, as we've guessed...
Is it still standing?
Of course. It's on Rue de Montmorency. You can get there via the cemetery of the...
And how do you plan to free my spirit from this autumn?
We would simply need to break the bond between them. To do this, for a short time, of course. We don't want to lose. As for the rest, it will be a question of mechanics. Therein lies the problem. But it is fascinating. Perhaps Monsieur Bailly and Monsieur Lavoisier could...
Goodbye, mon père. Monsieur Bailly, do you think there is any way to interrupt?
I
would like to briefly sever the bond.
It is a very strange request, madame.
According to the abbot, my spirit...
Oh, that dreadful place.
I hope to find answers.
You must understand, madame, that your very nature is a mystery to us. Nor do we know how your machine... That is why it is impossible for us to make even the slightest alteration. Of course, if we had documents that could shed...
Antoine, the blueprints.
What blueprints, mon...
Ludia's. Eugène gave them to me when he was working on the modification. He wanted my opinion on the potential for The documents are obsolete now, but they could tell us quite a bit about the mechanical principles that are shared.
Bon sang, you're right. Where...
Alas, the situation is not in our favor. I kept it earlier, when I went there to collect my I found looters making off with its content.
Blasted scavengers. They're
I chased them to the quays, but was unable to... When they disappeared into an underground passageway under the Louvre,
You acted wisely, mon ami. The automats are...
I'll try to track them down.
Dieu de bon Dieu, boss. It hurts. It hurts.
Steel yourself, Claude. Just be thankful you got out.
I'm still in pretty bad shape.
Et puis quoi? Don't you think it was worth it? This tunnel is a gold mine. With what we've managed to gather, we'll be set for a long time.
Monsieur,
Huh? Who goes there?
Oh, so, let's get the hell out of here! Run, Claude! Run if you can!
Oh, my lure! I told you we'd get caught.
The looters from the observatory. Poor souls. They didn't stand a chance. Ludius blueprints. Fortunately, they are in perfect condition. Monsieur Bailly will be delighted. Monsieur Bailly. Here are the blueprints you asked for.
Good heavens.
Your thieves were not able to profit much from...
Oh, the poor souls.
Certainly. Let us look at these
No, Antoine, the F-wheel is not part of the cog that transfers the driving force to the escapement.
Diable, you're right. It's driven by the B-wheel, and its axis is on...
Precisely. In fact, the shaft sits between the conical bearing and...
True. All we would have to do is separate these two...
And to put them back in place at the agreed time to start the machine again.
You will not be able to assist me. I have to do it alone.
You must be joking.
By no means.
Unfortunately, madame, your...
Oh, ça, par exemple.
Once your spirit is untethered from this automat...
Hold on, my dear Antoine. Is this device in figure 4? Is it still in place?
Yes, it is. What of it?
Oh, so... It's a timer.
The dial has marks from 1 to 50.
It was to allow Eugène to plan the duration of Ludia's dance.
Oh, I see. And by reversing the position of this peg in the center, we could...
Nous y sommes, mon ami.
Will Aegis be able to operate this device?
We'll make it easier for her. All you have to do is put a bolt there that she can remove when the time is right. Yes, a small iron rod will suffice. When the timer dial reaches 0, the However, given the dial's fragility, we will probably get only one chance to try this.
Are you sure that the bond between my soul and this...
Ma foi. What do you say, mon père?
Don't be afraid, Aegis. And your soul will seek refuge in the only body it has...
Well then.
Let's begin.
Voila. Everything is in... When it's time, just pull on this metal loop to start the timer.
Remember, you will have 15 minutes. We wish you good luck.
Remember, to get to Rue de Montmorency, here is the key to the gate. Our prayers are with you.
Monsieur.
Zounds! Praise be to the Holy Mother of our Lord, at last thou speakest! Gentle dame, you have erred here for so long, not a word uttered. In singular contemplation of such terrible slaughter.
A long time, you say? That's not possible, sir. I've just now appeared to you.
Nay, thou must trust me. And thou wast hardly alone in this limbo. There were many travelers, stiff and silent, all in agony. All bound to the anchor stone.
What travelers do you
The first to arrive was a sobbing child, searching for his mother. Then, those whose thoughts passed through me.
Hold on.
A scholar with soul star-filled.
Monsieur B. and Monsieur Lavoie.
A usurer who shed so...
Monsieur Necker, mourning his wife.
All bound to the anchor stone. Wretched souls, their ascension to the heaven.
The anchor stone.
Lapis philosophorum.
The philosopher's...
Aye! Vile knave who took it for his own lately. No count is he but that of Tris.
Cagliostro.
Well met. A rope for this varlet and I shall be avenged. The anchor stone keeps the travellers in this limbo and makes them masters of the from the defunct springs the fire that burns inside these demons. Lanterns of the dead.
The terrible slaughter.
Aye. Vile innumerable crimes. The devil's own accursed type, they drinketh from the lake where the souls of the dead sleep. Then the terrible maw was opened, and in flowed legion. Oh! The stone is verily mine dark confine. Lonely, so lonely, that mine vessel is no more, and my soul still cloistered in this place. Alack, I do despair of ever ascending to heaven. Gentle dame, I prithee do shatter my stone.
You want me to break the stone that contains your soul? Is that what you're asking me to do?
Aye, my God. I beg thee.
Do you know where this stone is? You've been buried for more than 3 centuries, monsieur.
The precious jewel, sublime treasure, was inscribed in my legacy, my testament. On my tomb engraved, gentle dame, on the tomb!
What a strange encounter. I must tell Abbe Grégoire about it immediately.
Can I help you, Aegis?
The plan worked as we had hoped. My spirit left my body, and I traveled.
This is extraordinary.
You were right about the rest, too. Nicholas
Mon Dieu, 4 centuries?
Yes, mon père. He claimed that I had been in purgatory for a...
Please.
He said he had met other visitors who were speaking of Monseigneur de la Fare. They all seemed unaware of his presence.
All those whom Cagliostro turned into his homicidal... The subject has the impression of being the automat it is bound to.
Mon père, Monsieur Flamel begged...
How can we help him?
If he is to be believed...
Of course, the Philosopher's Stone.
Look at this, mon père. These...
Heavens, they do. Aegis. It was entrusted to me by the parish priests, along with some other... Here's the key. Go.
Goodbye, mon père. Here it is.
4 centuries, Aegis. 4 centuries. No mind can begin to comprehend what this poor man has suffered.
Is this the fate that awaits us? An eternity of silence and solitude?
Purgatory is just a stop on the journey, Monseigneur.
Oh, I would give anything to believe it again.
Monsieur Flamel, the time has come to set you free.
Seigneur, Dieu nous garde.
Oh, blessed maid who has broken my chains! Heavenly light! Oh, heavenly light! I shall become one with it!
Et cum hae dixis et videntibus illis elevatus est.
And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up.
Hallelujah! Purgatory is not the end. Do you know what that means, Abbot?
Before I say anything, I would like to take the time to consider the phenomenon we have just witnessed with a clear head.
You are mistaken. What we have just seen and heard makes us new apostles. From this day on, I will live only to share the good news of this divine manifestation.
That is all well and good, Monseigneur. Alas, I will not be able to join your apostolate, for there is no mission more vital than the one we are undertaking. At a moment when the tyrant aims to annihilate his subjects, I have a duty to put deeds before prayer.
This mobile walkway leads to the depths of the quarry. I will explore the area and try to find a way to make it work. Here we go. That should work. Monsieur Marat is hiding somewhere in the depths of this quarry. I will have to use this mobile walkway. Monsieur Marat's men waged a terrible fight here. Some of these poor men were trampled to death. They barricaded themselves in to escape the enemy. The only way through is the hard way.
Look at them, parading around like peacocks. These scoundrels, rotten to their very core. See how they proudly display their vices and shameful privileges, tirelessly working to drag morality through the mud, trampling love itself.
The Queen is said to have read your liaison before her husband banned it. It's hilarious, isn't it?
I'm not surprised. No matter how hard I worked to denounce their immoral practices, the aristocrats saw my novel as nothing more than a light-hearted bit of fluff. How naive I was to imagine that my pen could slice away the gangrene of their debauchery.
Well, fortunately, you have more than one string to your bow, mon capitaine.
Monsieur Marat.
Huh? Hey? Who goes there? La diable, je m'attendais. So this is the famous Huntress Diana I've heard so much about. Truly. 'Tis an honor, madame. Now let me have a look at you. Oh, oui. You're just as they described. An angel of death, descended from the heavens to vanquish the clockwork tyrant.
Who depicted me this way, monsieur?
Mes compagnons, madame. Chief among them is Monsieur Chaudelot de Leclos. They have observed you dispensing justice all over the city. A most expeditious justice at that, as befits the crimes committed by our good king. What a strange machine you are. Gifted with intelligence, clearly, but also with speech and the freedom to do as you please. Cependant, you are still an automat. Who is your master?
Monsieur de Robespierre assured me...
Maximilien. A pure heart with a head full of dreams that cloud his perception of reality.
And you, Monsieur Marat. Who is your master?
I serve not a master, but a cause. That of the Duc d'Orléans. His cousin the king has no place on that throne, and nor does his wretched dynasty. The Bourbons, along with their wars, their crimes, and their vices, are finished. It's high time their scepter be passed to an enlightened, just monarch. One who is sympathetic to the people's sufferings. But now that I think about it, madame, look at us. We've been standing around chatting like old friends for several minutes, and I still don't know to what I owe the pleasure of your visit.
I must go to the Bastille, where Monsieur de Vaucanson is imprisoned.
Oui. Such a sad fate for a king's lackey. And what do you want with your creator? This man whose blood-stained hands built the army that's currently setting Paris ablaze.
What Vaucanson has done, only Vaucanson can undo.
Fair enough. Alas, while I come and go as I please through these tunnels, it is impossible to enter the fortress.
Impossible, dites-vous?
A sanguinary automat is spreading death and terror in the depths of this quarry. At the cost of their lives, my comrades were able to sabotage the floor of the cave to limit its movements. Nevertheless, it stands between you and the tunnel that leads to the Quartier du Temple. And that's the only way to reach the Bastille.
And yet that's exactly what I intend to do, Monsieur Marat.
À votre guise. I shall not attempt to dissuade you. There is one small thing, though. I had to disable the mobile walkways to protect myself from the automats. But since you managed to come here, I assume you already know a lot about these devices.
Indeed.
Here. This will allow you to reach the lower tunnels. Have you fixed the walkway? That's the only... The mechanism is on this...
Who laid on this blood-stained mattress?
Oh, it's a strange story. I suppose you heard about what happened.
Indeed.
Well, we took in one of the survivors of the massacre. Despite his serious injuries, he was particularly talkative.
What did he tell you?
He kept saying that Lafayette was a traitor in the king's pay. That the flaxen-haired hero had deliberately handed...
What evidence did your guest have?
Nothing substantial, unfortunately. It was based on a simple rumor that was circulating in the camp shortly before the Royal Army attacked. It would appear that several volunteers carried a yellow cartridge in their cartridge pouches. Most likely a subtle way for the conspirators to recognize each other. The subsequent disaster would tend to confirm this hypothesis. Vous ne croyez pas?
These are suspicions. Nothing more.
Right you are. Oh, if only I had proof of this conspiracy. Then I'd be able to scutter the ambitions of that cur Lafayette for good. The would-be dictator's plans would be foiled.
I must get to the bottom of this urgently.
Very well. I encourage you to do so. But remember that the Marquis could not have acted. If you can't find anything implicating him, start in Place Dauphine, where those brigands sullied the ground with their boots.